Hello, thank you for joining us. With 2 months until Donald Trump is sworn in as the next president of the United States, we begin our report on Capitol Hill, where the work to fill his cabinet has already begun. Vice President-elect and current Ohio Senator J.D. Vance brought Trump's controversial Attorney General pick Matt Gaetz to meet with Senate Republicans Wednesday. This is what Gaetz had to say to reporters as he was leaving.
They've been going great. Senator's been giving me a lot of good advice. I'm looking forward to a hearing. Folks have been very supportive. They've been saying we're going to get a fair process. So it's a great day of momentum for the Trump-Vance administration.
Meanwhile, members of the House Ethics Committee held a meeting of their own, debating what to do with the results of their investigation into sexual misconduct allegations against the former Florida congressman. In the end, there was not enough support to release the report. Gaetz denies any wrongdoing and told reporters he hasn't been paying much attention to the Ethics Committee. Meanwhile, Trump is working rapidly to announce who he hopes will fill his administration. He plans to name former acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker as the U.S. ambassador to NATO. Whitaker has a law enforcement background and no known experience in a foreign policy role. He was described by Trump as a, quote, strong warrior and loyal patriot who will ensure the United States' interests are advanced and defended. Trump has said he wants to announce all of his cabinet picks by Thanksgiving. He has yet to choose who he wants to nominate to lead the Treasury, Housing, Labor, and Agriculture departments. Olivia Beavers joins me now. She's a congressional reporter for Politico. Olivia, thanks for being here. First, let's start with that Ethics Committee report. What is the future of it? They didn't agree to release it, so what happens now?
Well, Lindsay, it was a chaotic day here on the Hill. It seems like, at least for now, the decision has been punted. We're hearing a little bit of conflicting information coming out. There was a suggestion that the report wasn't completed, and Gaetz, the chairman of the Ethics Committee, told reporters that he's reluctant for that to come out. But some of my colleagues have heard that the report is actually completed, and we're seeing sort of the Ethics Committee itself devolve into some figure pointing with Susan Wild, the ranking member, and Gaetz clashing on what they're even saying to reporters coming out of that closed-door meeting. It was about 2 hours where they were meeting behind closed doors. There were some votes taken, but basically it looks like they're going to be reconvening after Thanksgiving in December to decide the fate of it. And it has sparked an entire effort by 2 different Democrats with competing resolutions to try to force the consideration for it to basically be released before in about 2 sort of business days.
A lot of interest. We saw that crush of cameras there. What was the goal of Gaetz's meeting with lawmakers on Capitol Hill?
So it seems like the kind of consensus that Republican senators were saying was that he should be able to proceed with this process. There are a lot of doubts. Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, 2 Republican senators, have basically said that. Mark Wayne Mullen has said that he has a tough road ahead, but they're saying he should be able to get a fair shake. Now, some Republicans have suggested to me that it wouldn't be the worst thing if Matt Gaetz is under oath and they could ask him some of these questions that he has publicly denied, that some of the allegations that we've seen either in reports and that are believed to be in the upcoming ethics report, if that ever makes it out to the public. But at the moment, they're promising that they might give him a fair consideration.
You had mentioned 3 Senate Republicans. Is that too many? How many can Republicans afford to lose on confirmation of Matt Gaetz?
So if they have basically perfect attendance, they have 4, and there have been multiple who have expressed doubts. Senator Kramer is one of those as well. So Matt Gaetz is probably the one where we're looking at it being one of the hardest of Trump's picks to get Senate confirmed. And he comes with some at least sort of public baggage. He's not really well liked by a lot of Republicans who are even in the Senate just because he was the architect of ousting Kevin McCarthy. And so he's even controversial just for that fact and effort alone.
And we know Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee have requested the FBI's file on Matt Gaetz. I want to go ahead and play some sound from House Speaker Mike Johnson, who sort of changed his tune Wednesday to side with Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who asked the speaker to add an anti-transgender rule about bathrooms on Capitol Hill. Let's listen.
Yeah, like all House policies, it's enforceable, but we have single-sex facilities for a reason, and women deserve women's-only spaces.
He went on to say, we're not anti-anyone, we're pro-women, saying the policy has always been there, just unwritten. We also, this is an effort in response to the election of Democrat Sarah McBride. Mace has said as much, will be the first openly transgender lawmaker on Capitol Hill. What is McBride and what are her fellow Democrats saying about this?
I think that largely Democrats are condemning Republicans' sort of positioning on this, and they're definitely clearly trying to make it an issue even before she is formally sworn in. But McBride put out a statement earlier today where she was saying that she's not going to make it an issue. She's going to use the bathrooms, and she will have a private one in her office when she comes in. There's also sort of another element, which is like there are some private bathrooms scattered around the Capitol, but for the majority, they're communal. So I think that there's going to be a little bit of working and sussing out where they are when she leaves her office. I think that there's an element where she is not wanting Republicans to have this talking point. So she's basically trying to cut them short and say, okay, you know what, if that's how you're going to be, we'll play by the rules and I'm not going to make it an issue. And then she can basically cut off what they're messaging so that they're not doing it for the rest of next year.
Senator Fetterman said, there's no job I'm afraid to lose if it requires me to degrade anyone. He said, we have a bathroom in my office anyone is welcome to use, and that includes Representative-elect McBride. Olivia Beavers, thank you.